Matt, once again, welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Aaron Daniel. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested, requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film Green Card. Now, Green Card came out in 1990, and it's a Peter Weir film. Now, Peter Weir, if that name sounds familiar, he directed The Dead Poets Society with Robin Williams. He did Witness with Harrison Ford. He did The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. All three of those films I enjoyed. And this was a different kind of pace for him because this is pretty much a romantic comedy, and it has Gérard Depardieu, French actor, and Andie MacDowell, who I remember from Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And pretty much like 5 minutes in, they get this green card marriage, meaning it's a fake marriage with a marriage certificate. It's so that Gérard Depardieu can be in the States and not be deported. Meanwhile, Andie MacDowell said yes to us because by saying yes, she gets this great looking apartment that the owners would only rent to a married couple. It's an apartment that has a greenhouse because she is a botanist. She's actually has this program with kids to plant trees across the city. She's taking care of the plants. He's a wannabe composer, but he's working as a waiter right now. They're doing their own separate lives. And one day the immigration officers come by Andie MacDowell because they want to make sure this marriage is legit. So she has to contact Gerard Depardieu. They have to pretend to be married. And then the movie just... I wasn't really a fan of the film. Is that a full hardcore rant? I could just say I wasn't a fan of the movie. But just as a comedy, it's not really funny. And there's a lot of moments I'm like, what is supposed to be funny? Like, this is a romantic comedy, but I don't know. I mean, maybe the closest I came to a chuckle is when one of Andie MacDowell's friends are there, and Gerard Depardieu and Andie MacDowell's talking to her, and he's like, yes, look, we old friend, so I don't fuck her, okay? Like, the way he said that, the way he worded that, his delivery of that line, got me a bit of a chuckle, which plays out better in the movie than I do it in the review. The score, at one point, I think Enya, one of the pieces of music from Enya is playing. The score, I swear sometimes the score, I don't know why it almost sounds like a stalker movie. Like, there's a bit where they're getting to know each other, they're asking each other questions for the immigration officers in the future. You know, what are you into? Where were you born? All that stuff. And so they're closer and closer together, and he's looking at her lips and he goes, and that boyfriend, it was he, her first kiss to those lips. Like, the way he's looking, the way he says that, and then up close to the lips, and then the score, I'm like, is this a stalker thriller? Like, this could easily turn to a horror movie. With Peter Weir, I wouldn't be surprised. But it's not. This is like a sitcom plot that seems more serious than funny, and pulled from 20-some minutes without commercials to an hour and 40 minutes. I don't think there's enough here for a plot. It's a very thin plot. And it does almost sound like a plot of a sitcom. And the acting is not bad. Like, Gerard Depardieu and Andie MacDowell, they're not bad. Although once in a while, Andie MacDowell, she's kind of talking like this and trying to be, I don't know, a holier than thou attitude and something about the delivery of her dialogue, as if she's trying to do a play. And not a whole lot happens. They go to a party. He's playing poorly on the piano, but then he starts playing well. And then they're looking to him to say something deep. And he just repeats the words Andie MacDowell had told him earlier. And the crowd erupts in applause at the party. There's a little montage of them having pictures taken to show a history of them. So like them in different poses. They have little fights here and there. Yeah, I'm a gutter, but you're like a plant, like a cactus. One time she brings her boyfriend home and they're macking out, and he's like, "Do you not hear what she said? You must leave." Then they get into a fight. Then they go their separate ways. After doing the immigration, they go to the office and they answer questions. They go their separate ways. Spoiler alert, fucking spoilers. He sends her sheet of music to show just throughout the film he's been humming this song. So he gives her written down music. I guess that finally charms her. They meet at a coffee shop. He's ready to be deported. They kiss. He goes away. I don't mind the song playing at the end. I think the song was actually, I forget the name of the song, it was actually rather good. And then it cuts away. I guess she's going to move to France maybe to be with him. That's why I don't know if I really bought them fully to fallen in love. Because it doesn't seem like they had great chemistry. Also, apparently this was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Screenplay. I have no idea why. Really, I have no idea why this was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Screenplay. What in the screenplay details an Oscar-worthy script? I don't understand that. If someone wants to try to explain it to me, feel free. But I guess some would say this is trying to be a little bit more of a serious romantic comedy, but I don't know, the drama wasn't that palpable or legit or intense. The comedy was barely there, and I can't think of one belly laugh out of it. I mean, some would say a movie like this is more superficial, but I think a film like Notting Hill is a more successful romantic comedy than a film like this, or America's Sweethearts with John Cusack and Julia Roberts. Again, they may seem more superficial or more Hollywoody, but that seems more successful and was trying to accomplish than this. And I don't know if this is what this did at the box office, but it's definitely a film you hear nobody talk about, at least for a film that, again, got an Academy Award nomination. Didn't win, but was nominated for Best Screenplay. And yeah, I'm sitting there going, yeah, I think, at least of the films I've seen so far, the weakest Peter Weir film I've seen. And it kind of shows why he didn't do this kind of movie again. And what's funny is that he, apparently in the trivia, he was going to do this film earlier with Gérard Depardieu, but then he had to do some other thing and had to finish it. So in between, Peter Weir did Dead Poet Society, which became like one of his best films. So I just find it funny that the film he kind of did in between waiting for this is the film that people remember a lot more. Because I guarantee a lot of people remember Dead Poet Society a lot more than fucking Green Card. So again, that's the thing. Like, Green Card just feels like a sitcom plot stretched into 100 minutes. Gerard Depardieu and Andie MacDowell give decent performances, although again, Andie MacDowell has some off moments. I didn't really buy their chemistry with each other. I didn't really buy them falling in love with each other. I thought the film went on too long and got fairly boring. And as a comedy, there's not a whole lot of laughs in it. It's really not that funny. Now maybe Aaron Daniel feels differently, and if he wants to comment, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear his thoughts on the film. This just wasn't for me. So, take that for what you will. Again, Peter Weir, I think he's done a lot better. The Truman Show. I would say The Truman Show is my favorite Peter Weir film. The Truman Show, then Witness, and maybe Dead Poet Society would be number 3. But Truman Show is definitely my favorite. See, that's a film that works better as a comedy, and it has drama as well. Like The Truman Show is much more successful in a comedy drama venture than this is. And The Truman Show would be more worthy of a Oscar nomination for script than this movie. Again, this is a script that, I'm just repeating myself. I was going to mention the sitcom thing, but yeah. With that said, there's really not much else to talk about. There's not much to talk about in terms of scenery or cinematography or direction. There's just not much to say about it. I did the music. I didn't mind the music. I did once in a while. I felt like it was more of a something a bit more dramatic than I would think. And yeah, I like the song that plays at the end. When they go rush to get to the immigration office, Enya, E-N-Y-A, one of her songs is playing. I believe it's Enya. Again, to me, maybe romance is that Peter Weir's forte. Although, hell, The Witness was a better romance story than this movie. So does that mean Peter Weir did better romance than Witness? He did better comedy in Truman Show. See it for yourself. For me, nah. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.